It is harder, because I had Maria, and then when she was freshman, I started with her in 5th grade, and then by the time she was freshman, she didn't want to do it anymore, which broke my heart. But then I took a couple of years off, and I said, just tell Sammy it's out of school. And Janine remembered. She called me as soon as Sammy graduated. But I started with another little gal in 3rd grade.
Yep.
And
Well, you build a relationship with kids, and that's good teachers do that, good parents do that, and then as teammates, it's a wonderful project. My wife's a teammate for us. She's now had this young lady since 4th, 5th, 6th. She's in 6th now, and grades are going up, attitudes getting better.
it's just,
Helps. Other issues that you see that you face as a school district?
Well, and we probably addressed it, but I think public relations is always a big issue. You know, we need to promote what the kids are doing, their accomplishments, their successes. Anytime you put that out in the
and I know
public
they
and the
do,
people see
you know,
it.
like they have the Oracle, and they try to get that out. I mean, they bring it to the business, you know. They have been bringing it. Now, I haven't got one for a while, and maybe they haven't.
They've been putting it out.
But
so
those
I'll
are
check.
nice, those, you know, but we do, I mean, that letter that you guys send out, you know, with all the
It
teachers,
does, but
that
it's
is really
an ongoing thing that needs
to happen all the time.
continue to happen.
Yeah. And keep people
But part of the
interested.
challenge is, you know, because the parents, or most of the parents of the school kids are pretty in tune with what's going on. You know, for example, I don't have, my kids are not involved in FFA, but I have a pretty good idea what's going on with FFA and just about all the programs in school. Because I've got kids that their friends and everything else are in there. So you hear about it, but like you said, if we only have 22% of the district that has
Yeah.
kids, well, our main information source, you know, I read that stuff
So how do
too,
you
but
reach
a lot of what I find out is what I hear my kids talking about. That's how
But you see the successes
yeah.
reported in the newspaper, but that's extracurricular. You don't see
Yeah.
a lot of the academic successes that, you know, need to be put out there for people to see.
You know, I know some of the things that school districts have done. You've got a chamber of commerce. Some school districts have started by inviting chamber members to come to school and see a specific part of a curriculum. It might be a science curriculum, it might be a vocational curriculum. One school district I'm thinking of they had any employer that employed more than 100 people. They called them primary employers in the community. And there were 52 employers that employed 100 people or more. So that was the first group they invited to come to school. And a lot of those people had not had children in school for years. And some of them never had children in school. And they weren't too sure that school was the place to be. But after 2 of those meetings, and what happened was the kids did the talking. Teachers introduced the curriculum, because the teacher had built the curriculum and knew it. But the kids talked about it. And then the business people, men and women, asked them questions. The kids were very knowledgeable about everything they were learning. They knew. They also featured, when the 52 primary employers came in, there were probably 100 and some people in that group, because many businesses sent more than one person. There was a string quartet that played in the entryway of the school, so that was the music program. I call it home economics, but it's not that anymore. They fixed sandwiches and lunch for people when they left. They had a little snack for them. So they saw 3 or 4 aspects of the school, but more importantly, they got to meet students, high school kids. And the superintendent at that place told me he got a letter from a guy that owned a business there that wasn't very friendly to the school, never had been. And he said he had learned more in those 2 visits than in his entire time in that community, and had a different, now he wanted to get some of those kids as interns, because he knew what they were capable of doing. So I think that school continues to do those kinds of things. Didn't cost much, took time and organization, but it was worth it. So I think there are all kinds of things like that. I always say there's nothing more powerful than an invitation, so if you invite citizens in, they're likely to come. Grandparent days, anything like that. You probably do that in elementary. It's high school. You know, I always say if you take a bunch of people my age and walk them down the street, and then coming toward them are 12 middle school kids, if you try to figure out where the old people are going to run and hide, they're just scared to death. And the more we can get older people to meet younger kids and know what's on their minds, the better that whole relationship you're talking about is going to be.
That's a perfect example of that, and this don't have anything to do with the planning session, but like for the alumni banquet, when we have it here, we have an open house here, and the foundation sponsors the tours. We've recruited some of the National Honor Society kids to come, and they give tours, not just to local people, but to people that come. And,
Sure.
And I've heard so many positive comments from them people that took the tours of how much they enjoyed the kids giving them the guided tour through the school and explaining what they're doing, and you know, just heard a lot, and Sue probably has too. You know, just it's really rewarding to hear these people comment how much they enjoyed them kids.
Well, and you know, you said earlier, the things that get reported in the paper are usually if your debate team wins, or there's a play, or a sports team wins, that all gets reported, but success in English class and science class, that doesn't get reported. And when people get to see that, and maybe get a little taste of that curriculum, and kids explain it to them, as well as teachers, that's a big. Any other issues? I'm sure there are plenty, but any other issues you want to bring up tonight before we start aiming at goals?
Replacing our superintendent.
You're not going anywhere, are you?
One more year to retire.
One more year? Jeez. You know, there are a lot of them going this year, which, it's a big gap. I mean, right around Lincoln, there's just a whole bunch of them that are getting filled.
We got a whole bunch of young people, but they're much in the middle, and you know,
Yep.
we got a bunch of them nearing retirement.
Yeah. And a lot of our students that I try to get into the superintendency say, well, why would I want to do that? Well, because you've never had more fun in your life. Anything else? Let me just run over the issues and highlight it. And I'm going to write all this up for you. But school finance, centering on state aid, the depletion of stimulus money, which puts more pressure back on local districts when that's gone, puts a lot of pressure on the state aid, and then the formula itself. School facilities, which are always an issue, but one that you're catching up with at this point.
I think one thing we need to be, our school facilities, the updating that we're doing currently, we had a lot of comments before that said, well, this should have been done a long time ago. Well, the other thing is what we're doing now, there's older portions of our school that are also going to need to be updated in 5-10 years. I mean, this isn't done.
No, and it's never done, and typically when bond issues are passed, people breathe a sigh of relief and think, well, that's over for 10 years.
Yeah.
But it isn't, because there are new federal and state laws, and then there are all kinds of other things. Lincoln passed a $250 million bond issue 5 years ago. They built